Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this week, what are we talking about? We're talking about business and the question that changed my business this summer. Yeah, now you don't have to have a business to receive from this show because a lot of what I'm talking about will probably contribute to every area of your life. It certainly did mine, and it started in business. So, all right, let's start at the beginning. Earlier this year, which is 2021, depending on when you're listening, I know a lot of times people listen later, I was not having the same sort of energy in the business that I'm used to. So I'm used to this really creative flow of energy that is so inspiring and so delicious and I'm just so freaking grateful for. And I just didn't have much of that earlier this year. So I was asked this question in August, so probably for maybe 4 or 5 months before that, it just wasn't the same. And it probably took me a little while to really get present with it. I would say, and I'm just guessing here because I don't really remember, but it probably started and then I thought, oh, this will change, or it's just I'm tired, or it's, all the conclusions and stuff. And then when it didn't change, that's when I started looking at it. The thing is, what I did though, is I looked at it from trying to fix the problem. Now, I know none of you are as silly as me, but that's what I was doing. I was looking at it as being a problem and how can I fix the problem? Yeah. So then, that didn't work. Spoiler alert, that does not work. Do not try to fix the problem, because guess what? When you're trying to fix the problem, what's actually occurring is that you're buying the lie that there is a problem, which means then you have to figure out what the problem is, and you can't figure out what the problem is because the problem's a lie. So then you end up on this ridiculous hamster wheel. So don't look for the problem. And so I spent a few months looking for the problem so I could fix the problem so I didn't have the problem anymore. It sounds so funny now. And at the time, I just wasn't willing to be as aware as I am today. So how does it get any better? So then what occurred was I started actually asking, like, what is this? What is this? What is it going to take to change it? What is this? What's it going to take to change it? Interestingly enough, once I started asking that, imagine that, guys, questions work. I actually saw a class of a fellow certified facilitator. Her name was Heather Nichols, and she was having a class called Being the Athlete in Business. And I knew that class was going to contribute something to changing this. Not a clue what, but I knew something. So when I took that class, I asked about this because that was the energy that was there for me. I asked about just not having the same energy. And so freaking grateful, the universe always has my back. It was the timing of it. So I asked it on, I think, a Tuesday, and Heather had just been at a Maestro meeting with Dr. Dane where they had this amazing conversation, and this question was asked. So then Heather asked me. So before I tell you what the question is, if you are experiencing any of that energy of just it being not so exciting, there's not really the energy, and it doesn't have to be business. Remember, guys, where you can use these tools on anything. So maybe that's in another area of your life. Maybe it is your business. Whatever it is, I just want you to kind of tap into that right now. And then I'm going to ask you the same question that I was asked. So truth, have you created everything that you've came here to create? Yeah, now there isn't a right or a wrong answer to that, guys. It's not pass or fail. It can just give you some more information. So when Heather asked me that, I actually had such a big, it was a mixed thing. I had a huge release in my body. I was like, oh my gosh. But then also it was just, I just wanted to cry. It was just so much of a yes, of a finally energy, which the next moment is really like, oh my God, am I done here? Wait a minute, what? Thank goodness. Don't worry. If you got a yes too, not to worry. What it is now for us is, what would we like to create? So I don't want to put a lot of words to this because it's really trying to define something that's undefinable, and I am going to give it a few words. So when we have created everything we've come to create, now we have infinite choice. Now we could look at, hey, what would we like to create? So maybe we came in with some decisions of what we had to create, or maybe we came in with some ideas, or maybe even we chose some things along the way and said, oh, I really want to create that. And then when it's done, it doesn't mean we're done. It can, but chances are it's more now, at least it has been for me, of what would I like to create now? What would I like to create? Now, of course, it doesn't mean the things earlier that I created were from, obligation or that I had to. It was just the energy. So again, I don't want to put too many words to that, but just know that if you got a yes, all it means now is you truly get to choose what you would like to create. Which it's so interesting. Because but being asked that question and having that awareness gifted me, it's changed everything internally and not externally so much. So I'm still doing the same sort of business. I'm still offering the same sort of classes. There's, everything kind of, if you were looking just external, like it looks the same. And it's 1,000,000,000% different. Like the people that are showing up now, the clients I get to play with, the VIP sessions, the foundation classes, all of these. And the other thing, this is the magical, like magic beyond magic. I sat down in, I don't know, maybe it was an hour, if that, and I planned out from that moment, which was again, beginning of August, to December, what I was going to create. My business was so clear with me as to what it was asking to get created on the planet. It was boom, 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 boom. Like you might have noticed on my upcoming events, I've got things more in the future than a week. Like this is huge, huge. Because I've spent 19 years pretty much flying by the seat of my pants. Now, that's not wrong at all. And I cannot tell you the ease that being that clear with my business has created. And I've been very clear with my business, not so clear though future related. So I can get a hit now and know that it's for, in 2 weeks or something. Absolutely, that's total ease for me. But to know now for December, to know now for November, it's phenomenal for me. And actually, by the time that you listen to this or watch this, depending on how you're consuming it, it may well be into 2022. I've already got this whole magical creation for 2022 that it's like, how does it get any better than this? Just by acknowledging that basically I had come to create. No, I'd created all I had come to do. And now what would I like to choose? Ah, the magic of it, my sweet friends. Yes, yes, yes. So if you did get a yes when I asked that, just be present with that and look at what would you like, and ask this, what would I like to create now? If I could create anything, what would I like to create now? And ask that a lot. Remember, we don't ask questions for answers. We ask questions to receive awarenesses. You might not receive the awareness right away. That's okay. Allow yourself the space to receive the awareness. And there's probably going to be way more than one thing that you would like to create on the planet, my sweet friend. Yes. Now, I would also love to invite you, if you are in business or would like to be in business and you would like to get an idea out into the world, a class, a creation, whatever you want to call it, I am redoing, that's probably not the correct way to say it, but I'm going to say it that way anyway, a program that I did earlier this year called From Idea to Offer. Yes, it's a 5-part program where we go through number 1. Step 1 is all about communing with your business so that you can receive from it or from the creation what it's asking to be and all the pieces. Then we talk about creating invitations to it, all the stories you have, all the things. Then is the graphics. So Sweet Erica has created 10 graphic templates so that you have, and of those 10, each one has multiple sizes for all the different social media outlets. Then we've got a whole step on sharing your class, how to get it out into the world, and then tools to add magic to your class. So 5 steps. We're going to do it over 5 weeks. And I would invite you to come and play now, because once this round is done, it's actually going to go up to $597, and this will probably be the last time we do it live. It just in all these new creations, it popped to do again. Everything has workbooks and all the pieces. So anyway, you can find out the information on the link. If you can't find the link, just reach out, let me know. I also have a free private podcast where you can listen to different podcasts on how to get ideas for your creations or your classes. So I know many of you reached out after I did the original one and said, hey, I would have loved to have been there, but I don't even have the idea. So there you go. Now you can listen to the free podcast. You just need to opt in. And just so you know, a free podcast is all about listening on however you listen to podcasts now. So you don't have to download anything else. You don't need to do anything else. It's just behind a door that I've got closed. And once you choose to join us, you get the key to the door. It's very simple. I've had a lot of people really confused about private podcasts. It's not confusing, guys. It's freaking phenomenal. I love them. I use them for a lot of different programs. So there you go. Okay. Now, back to the question that changed my business. Oh, I just cannot even tell you what it gifted to me, guys. It's so phenomenal. And so as I was with it afterwards and looking at it, the other thing that I really got that matched the energy, something we talk about in Access a lot, is changing tracks. And that is the other energy that came up, is that I had changed tracks in the business and I didn't acknowledge it. And this is the thing, if we don't acknowledge these things, if we don't acknowledge what is going on, what is true, what we're aware of, what we're creating, we end up using that against us. And so when I didn't acknowledge, 1, that I'd created everything I came to create, and 2, that I had actually changed tracks energetically, then I kept looking, in a sense, I was looking backwards at the same track I was on before, trying to figure out how to do that again, rather than going, oh, I've changed tracks. Now what? Now what? And so that's the other thing you want to look at. 1, you can do energetic contributions to change tracks. So #GetYourButtToFoundation. I have another one coming up at the end of December online. How the heck did I get so lucky? And where we talk about energetic contributions, there's so far in the foundation manual, they've got up to the 20. So there's 3, 4, all the way up to 20. You get the idea. So 13 is about changing tracks. And the biggest thing to be aware of with changing tracks is to recognize that when you do energetic contributions to change tracks, you don't get to say what tracks you go to. So this is like everything else in Access Consciousness. These tools are to create greater, not for you to decide what will create greater and then only choose that. It's not that. It's about having no point of view, just knowing that you're choosing greater. And so right now, if you would like to change tracks in whatever area, I'm going to keep it open so that you can choose for you. If you don't have a business, you don't have to do it for that. Could be in your money, could be with your body, could be with relationships, with every area of your life. It could be business, whatever it is. So we're going to do some 13s, and I use my hands. If you've ever seen Dr. Dane here, the co-founder of Access Consciousness, you might have seen him do a lot of stuff with his hands. He does a lot of energetic contributions. So 13 is to change tracks. So everywhere that you would like to change tracks on 13, will you do that now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get really, really big, guys. Expand lots and lots and lots. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, 13. Anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So I recently did an in-person, oh my gosh, in-person, imagine that, class on changing tracks. And it was so incredible, guys, like so incredible. One of the awarenesses that we came to during that class is that for me, and I can speak to my awareness with it, it was another person there that brought it up, but I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. So I will often say, you know, oh, it's been 100 years since I saw that person, or it's been 100 years since I did that, or it's been 100 years since I went on that trip, or something like that. I'll use that bizarre phrase, it's been 100 years. And what I now know is when I say that, what I mean is I have since changed tracks. Yeah. Now, it's not relevant, it's not significant, but it was a huge awareness that day, because sometimes when I would say it, I'd be like, what am I, like, what is that? What do I mean by that? And now I know. I'm just acknowledging that I've changed tracks since I saw that person, or I've changed tracks since I did that thing. And how cool is that? So it also might be something that is true for you. You might have a phrase that you use. I'm trying to think of the other people in the class, what they said. Oh, it's been a different, it was a different lifetime, or 100 lifetimes ago, or different, something like that with lifetimes. So however it is, and it doesn't mean it's even a thing you do, but it was such a huge awareness for me to go, oh, that's what I'm saying. So now, because there's still times I say it, I have a little giggle, because now I know, oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm actually saying I have changed tracks since then. And how cool is that? How cool is that? And what does changing tracks really mean? It means that well, this is the way that I see it. I don't want to say it means it for sure. There's probably lots of different definitions, but really for me, it is that I'm changing, like I've changed who I be. So before Heather asked me that question, I was being the problem solver, the figure outer, the wrongness, the judger of me, all of that. And then once she asked me that question, I changed tracks. I changed to, and it's just a choice, but I changed to, once I had that awareness, it was so easy for me to go, man, that's it. That's it. And then the question is, okay, now what would I like to create? And so we can change money tracks. Like you've probably changed points of views about money. I know a big one that I often talk about, you know, I had to work hard for money. And once I changed that, I changed tracks. Now I'm on the track that money is ease, or whatever it is. I don't even want to define it like that, but you get the idea. Because again, we can't say, okay, I'm going to change tracks so that money is now ease. It's not that. We're just, if you got troubles with money, problems with money, if you're trying to figure out something with money, do some 13s to change tracks, whatever that's going to look like, whatever that shows up as, so that you can truly be in that creation space, that magical space, rather than, okay, I got to figure out this problem, because once I figure out this problem, then it'll be better. No, problems are lies, so you'll always be in the problem. So everything that brings up, we destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. The other way that I've been using the changing tracks tool is really, if I'm catching myself in that problem energy, if I'm doing that, then I'll just ask, so truth, have I changed tracks here? Because again, it will allow me to acknowledge it. If I acknowledge it, then I can actually choose something totally different, rather than spinning in the trying to figure out the problem or whatever it is. Yeah. So I wonder what is possible. The more that we're willing to change tracks and also acknowledge that we've changed tracks. You know, I think a lot of times when we don't, well, probably all the time when we don't acknowledge it, then we try to figure out how to get back to that old track. You can't go backwards, you try. Or maybe there's somebody in our life that really would prefer us on that other track. So we almost feel like we're pulled to go to that other track rather than, okay, what would I like to choose here? What's fun for me? And what if you can actually be with somebody who's on a different track than you? What if it's not about having to have them on the same track or you having to be on the same track? It's just you get to choose for you, they get to choose for them. Truly, what else is possible that we've never even considered? And what else is possible with the business that we've never even considered? If you've been around for a while, you hear me ask that question with regards to so much. And honestly, I'm not sure that this podcast would be here if it wasn't for that question. And I'll tell you the story in case you haven't heard it. But back in 2013, I was sitting on my, the other acreage that we owned. We had a little private deck on this beautiful hill. It was amazing. And I was sitting there one morning and I was feeling again, kind of maybe a little stuck in business. Things weren't flowing. And I was like, what else is possible with the business that I've never even considered? What else is possible with the business that I've never even considered? And I just kept asking that, but it was such a space of like almost meditation or something, because I wasn't looking for an answer. I wasn't asking to fix something. It was just the lightness of it over and over. And that afternoon, I got a random email from a radio show place. Anyway, it's called Voice America. And they asked me, they said, hey, would you like to have a radio show on our station? And I was like, what? Like, you're nuts. Anyway, they weren't nuts. I did start my radio show in 2013. You can find that one. It's called The Glenyce Show. You can search it on your favorite podcast app, or you can find all the shows on my webpage. They're all there. And then when I chose not to be with Voice America anymore, then I came here to Tools to Create a Better Life, that you're listening to this now. You might be watching it on video, but you can also get and subscribe on the podcast app. And if you do listen via podcast, I would love if you would go and leave a review. I'd be so grateful. These things, the way that social media and all this stuff works right now, the more people that share it and talk about it and review it and like it and love it and all the things, the more people that it gets to. And I would be so grateful if more and more people were like us and choosing to be more conscious and choosing to use these tools to create a better life and living and business and planet for all of us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a fabulous week, sweet friends. I look forward to chatting again next week.